You know, hmm. At that time, I would say I probably wanted to be a vet and like save every possible animal you could possibly save. Um, I would say at 7, yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't remember. I mean, I wasn't one of those people that knew what I wanted to do. Like, when you're like, whatever, you see these kids that are like on these crazy, you know, reality shows that are like, I started doing this at 3. I definitely wasn't one of those kids. So I don't know. At that age, I was completely clueless as to the world. The 70s were a lot different, very sheltered and such.
25 years later, from age 7, I still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. So I don't
You
know if there's
know,
hope for me or not.
I have to say, I mean, I've done a lot of things over the years. I'm older than you and probably all of you, but I would say at 40, I like is when I started in this whole thing and figured that I finally figured out something that I want to get up every day and do. And yeah, it took till about 40. I did a lot of shit in between.
Jennifer, let me ask you, did you have to change your name to be accepted like Colin did, or?
Like change my last name to be accepted or my first name?
No, your first name. And we're going to jump into it here in a minute, but obviously one of the guests on with us right now, Connor, aka Colin, basically when he got a big boy job in fantasy, he changed his name. He changed his Twitter handle. He had a whole brand going, and then he got real corporate. I don't know what's up with that.
Wait, seriously? You changed your first name?
No.
I'm like, what? I mean, hey, at this point, you never know.
No,
You're right. You ain't kidding.
I created the way I started was I created a website, right? And I went under Fantasy Football Matrix, and I just kind of had like my whole brand under that. Like I didn't really talk about my name because I was pretty young. I was like 18 when I started that, and that wasn't really cool at 18 to have a fantasy football site. So I just kind of went under a pseudonym, and then just as soon as I started writing for bigger sites, I was like, you know what, this is actually cool now. So I'm gonna start, change everything, change my name, and then I came on this podcast and it was called Colin. So I mean, that's kind of how it went from there.
Oh, all right, I gotcha.
Not as weird as it sounds. Well, maybe I don't
know. When you explain it, it sounds way more weird.
Always weirder than it sounds when it's coming out of your mouth, Colin.
Yep, I figured as much, honestly.
With the whole vet thing to start off, Jennifer,
yeah.
I thought we were gonna start with possibly some sort of Sarah McLachlan commercial. Do you have any of that in you?
I don't. I can't even watch those. But you know what? Fantasy football version? Like what? Starving fantasy football writers? Like, please donate so that I can buy things?
Yeah.
Like, if you guys saw...
Oh, man.
We could buy Amari Cooper some points, something like that. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you meant, like, for us, because, like, honestly...
No, yeah, we deserve it, too.
I've been made fun of. I got, one time there was show a screenshot of your setup, and there was jokes on 4 for 4 that they were going to start a GoFundMe because it's pathetic of what I'm dealing with my little laptop and my, Well, my husband and I are both in the sports business, and so we're just, it's not the most lucrative business unless you're a player, as you guys know. So
right.
That's that.
And that is that. Jennifer, I don't know if you realize, but I pushed live years ago. So we heard your whole backstory. We heard a little bit of Colin's fake backstory, and here we are. It is the open bar. Live Tuesday, 9:30 Eastern ish. We're going to ride for about an hour or so, talk about things. Don't know what yet. That's usually J Mike's job. Speaking of, that's my guy, my friend, my dude.
Yeah. You know what? I'm really excited for tonight's show. A couple oldies but goodies, and we're getting to know Jennifer already. It's like we grew up together probably. It's good time to be open bar tonight. So I'm excited for it. One thing I'm not excited for, and I'm just going to get it out of the way now so we don't have to talk about it anymore. The fact that the Dallas Cowboys just kicked the crap out of our Jacksonville Jaguars, I don't know what to do with myself. I cried myself to sleep someday. Then I put my kids to bed, and I cried again. And yeah, I'm kind of a shell of what I was, similar to our defense right now. So that's where I'm at.
I'm ready to not even talk about it, to be honest. Like, we can literally get into introductions instead. I was just telling the People's Champ that I turned it off. I literally turned it off at half. I just did not want to be a part of that. I put on the VR. I wanted to go to a different world. The world I was living in was not satisfactory. So let's not talk about it, J. Mike. Let's just wait till Bortles has another 4-touchdown game again or something.
Week next year in the CFL. It'll be a good time.
Are you guys all Jacksonville fans?
No.
This is a Jacksonville podcast.
She's like, what in the world did I
She's
get
like,
into?
what am I doing here? what is this?
Well, I can say that I banged the drum for ASJ the entire summer and then got screwed. So there's that. That's all I can contribute in the Jacksonville front.
We still don't know who the wide receiver one is. It rotates every week, so stay tuned. We've got a good lineup tonight. Quick introductions, and then we'll party on Garth. Connor, the official Connor Allen, and what is it? NFL afterwards.
Yep, he nailed it.
All of those.
Allen, NFL. That's exactly
I didn't realize how many times I said that. Good to have you tonight, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I was excited to come back on. It's been a while since I've been at the open bar. You know, I missed it. I missed you guys after being misnamed, and it was perfect. You know, I felt like right at home right away. So it's awesome.
Humble beginnings. You know, you're big time now. You got a tie on in your profile picture. You're doing big things now. But welcome back to the dregs of society. We appreciate you showing us love again.
Yeah, honestly, I think I need to change that. Like, I feel like that just doesn't even represent who I am. I just changed it because I didn't have a semi-decent picture of myself. So like, I'll get on that next week or so. Look for the profile picture change. All right?
You look like you just got out of class, like teaching a class at Dartmouth or something.
I need to look at this, I guess.
I could send you some of my jean shorts if you're willing to try something new out.
Oh, I'm all about the Jorts game. That's my go-to. Yeah, I'm
right.
a big fan. So if you got any extras, send them my way. Gladly wear them. New profile picture for sure.
All I need is a waist size. I do not need thigh size. That's going to be as tight as possible.
All right. Well, that's going to make it tough.
Dwight, the People's Champ.
What's up? How you guys doing, man? Sorry.
Yeah, we've been through that already. How are you? More importantly,
I'm good, man. Good. Just getting ready to start a new podcast. Starting next night. Tomorrow night, we're gonna record the first Devy Owners Manual. Talk about some Devy football with my man Andrew Harbaugh. So should be fun. Excited.
Devy.
Yes.
Is that still automatic?
Yes, it is, man.
It's gotta be. Yeah, giant shout out to those guys, Chris Allen, Adam Wieldy, a couple of just friends of the bar, and they do fantastic work on Dynasty Owners Manual. So I'm really excited for what you guys have planned for Devy Owners Manual. That should be a good time.
Yeah, good, man. Thank you.
I feel like there's several things we got to get into. I have a random question. It's something that I was thinking about on another podcast that I was doing Jennifer, you were talking about guys you were bringing the germ for earlier, like ASJ, and obviously utter sadness right now. I'm sorry, Gabe, I'm going to reopen the wound again. Leonard Fournette, someone who's been incredibly disappointing to us thus far.
Refresh the page then and get out of it for a second.
Dalvin Cook, incredibly disappointing to this point. He really did refresh. Wow. Okay. Good time. So at this point, the question really becomes, specifically in our dynasty leagues, but even for the rest of the season. And I was just curious, would you guys give up Leonard Fournette and this is let's keep it dynasty focused for a second. Would you guys give up Leonard Fournette or Dalvin Cook to take on the likes of Tyler Boyd and Phillip Lindsay?
Oh, we're talking dynasty here.
Yes, please.
For me, I'm sticking with those guys here. I think that would be too short-sighted, especially in dynasty for me. While it's been pretty disappointing this year, I think that the future of this, like their value, I'd like to in dynasty look at it kind of like from a value perspective, as far as like almost like a stock market. You know, if you take away like what the players are actually doing right now, like what their values will be in the offseason, I think that Fournette and Cook's value will both be a lot higher than Lindsey and Boyd combined. So while like Lindsey and Boyd are having really good seasons, I think I'm kind of in the boat with holding on to your studs there. And then if you really are off them and think that their injuries are a problem, you can ship them off later.
Yeah.
J Mike, I'm going to awkwardly stop the show right now because, well, potentially not stop, but I'm just curious what the hell is going on. Answer me this. Is there anyone in the YouTube chat right now that you still say exists? I don't necessarily believe you. I might not actually believe you today.
I actually have not been able to get that page to load. And as a matter of fact, I really can't get YouTube to do anything right now.
Is this a YouTube problem or a you problem?
I mean, I've been able to get it to work for a year straight now. This being the one time it's not. So I've tried Google Chrome, I've tried Safari, and I can't get YouTube to load on either. So
because Twitter is very excited right now about. Well, I don't know if they're excited per se. They're a bit disappointed with how this is going because we do not have a live feed currently.
Jason,
or if it's YouTube in general. Does anyone know this?
Jason just said that all YouTube services are down right now, just as a heads up. So yeah.
Oh, cool.
Like all together?
Well, at least it's not something we did then.
Yeah, I mean that's what wow.
So I can't even go to YouTube and watch a video right now.
Yeah, literally when you go to YouTube's homepage,
let's go look up some Nicki Minaj videos or something.
There are tons of kids out there losing their freaking mind, man.
Nicki Minaj.
All my daughters watch.
Mine is probably one of them in the other room, to be honest with you. I'm surprised I haven't heard this.
But mom.
Okay, wow. I cannot watch Nicki Minaj Anaconda right now. YouTube
you're missing
is
it.
very much down.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's gonna affect like when you try to save this.
I'd wondered because I'm having a lot of lag. I usually don't lag at all. That's why I refreshed because it's lagging really bad for me. I don't know. Very unusual.
I'm very curious myself. We could ride it out. We could see if it works, and we could post it as a podcast and thing.
We should talk in accents.
I mean, we always post it as a podcast.
I'm horrible at accents.
Come on, you got to at least
I
have
don't know what you're talking about.
I've got I can do Linda Belcher if any of you watch Bob's Burgers. That's about the only thing I can really do.
I'd love to hear that. I haven't seen it in years. But
well, actually, my husband actually does a better one than I. I get made fun of, but that's pretty much all I can do. Let me think. Now I'm on the spot. I'll do it in a little bit when it's not so.
Just throw it in there.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, what are your how you feeling about the super disappointments like Dalvin Cook and Leonard Fournette? Is this a place where you're looking to get rid of these guys?
You know, it's funny. I actually am not a dynasty person, so that's why I didn't really chime in. As far as regular, I like on a personal level, I avoided them all. I don't know if I happened to just get lucky, but I just wasn't really. I have very little Cook and very little Fournette going in. But I think it's one of those things. If you're on a team that is struggling and you need to, you're hurting, then I'd probably look to either get rid of them or figure something out. But I think if you're on a team where you're going to make the playoffs, I mean, they're going to get healthy. You just got to hang on for a while and they'll be all right.
I guess my only question, not only question, but one of the things that I keep thinking about or keep worrying about is like when is. Because I feel like Leonard Fournette does this mess where like it's gonna his injury is gonna pop up at like the worst time. So it would be like week 14, and you're like, okay, this is the playoffs. Like I need you. Like
right.
Where are you? I can't rectify trying to find the value versus being okay with riding it out, and then him sitting out week 14. Like I could not be okay with that. it's just weird for me.
Yeah, well, maybe he just got it all out of the way, and then he'll be all right in the playoffs. Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, Fournette, Cook could likely, with their hamstring issues, could likely be league winners just because if you hold on to them or if you ship them off to a team that is borderline on the playoff verge, and then they get them, and then they're good for the playoffs, and they got because that's really all that matters. Once you get in, you're good, and you just ride coattails of Yeldon and Mike Boone all year, whatever. Like, I mean, it's mostly been Latavius Murray, but
that's the exact type. That's the exact type of team that I'm looking to get Fournette and Cook in. If you're like 3-3, 2-4, you've got a good squad, but you don't know if you got that good a squad. Give up a little bit to try to get one of those guys. And if it doesn't work, whatever, it doesn't work. But if it does, then you could win you could win the title. So that's definitely the type of team I'm looking to acquire those types of guys with.
I like that. That makes a lot of sense.
I have Fournette in a couple leagues, in our awful league, J Mike, and in another league I have him with a very minimal bench, and I've been kind of thinking about the philosophy of these types of leagues this year with struggles in the injury department. And I wonder, like, if that value is even worth it in these short bench leagues, because you need to win. You need to. I mean, they do good on the bench, and if it's such a short bench, like, what are you waiting for, kind of thing. And so I don't know. What do y'all think? If you had a shorter bench, would you be willing to? It sounds weird, but like drop a Fournette, drop a Cook for a Yeldon or a Latavius Murray, if you're 1-4, 1-5, like, you need to win. Are you willing to do that?
I don't think you can just drop them. If it's redraft, I think I would.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah, I think I would. Why not? I mean, but yeah, definitely.
I think you probably trade him away for something better than what you'd get on the waiver wire. So, like, for me, is what I would try and do is sell high to someone. I mean, as high as you possibly can, which probably isn't that high at this point, but just like, maybe shoot him a few reports that he's coming back in the next week or two, and hope for the best. But I probably wouldn't drop him. Just look to trade him, and then if you really, if like you're playing in a really small league with shallow benches, then I think potentially you could drop him. But the waiver wire options would have to be really good, because not many guys have upside to like come in and then have a workhorse like 25 plus touches in not a decent offense. Sorry, Jags fans, but a potentially high scoring role.
You could definitely package them too. Like, maybe package them with somebody like Calvin Ridley for like Juju or something, and see if you can upgrade one spot, and get rid of him. Yeah, that would be an option as well.
Wow, CNET. YouTube is experiencing a widespread outage.
Nice.
So let me ask you guys a question. When you say your awful league, what constitutes awful there? I'm just curious. Like, what's the
our number of points scored?
We can certainly read that off. It's fun. I know that's on that league. I know that J Mike and I were way too high on who's your boy Ronald Jones and Michael Gallup for me. I mean, just
okay, you guys are sharing a team. So you're saying your team is awful.
Correct. So
okay. I misunderstood. I thought you were saying like in the league you guys were both in that was awful, and that's why I was curious what you meant. Okay.
Gotcha.
Your team was awful. Got it.
No, we're not saying.
Yeah, let's blame it on the league too. Actually, this league is just the rules weren't stated ever.
Yeah, shout out to Nathan Coleman, Jayhawk Chalk on Twitter. He's a good dude. He got a bunch of podcasts together, podcast hosts together to basically draft a league, and we were feeling pretty decent throughout as we were drafting in it, and it's not going well.
I've never been 0-6 in my life. Fantasy league, I've never done that.
I've
never been like 0-4. I don't think. I don't know. Like, a new year for me.
I do know the feeling. I'm 1-5 in Scotty Fishbowl, and I've never even been under 500 in a fantasy league, and I'm 1-5. And I've made Scotty Fishbowl 3 years in a row. This is my 4th year, and I am 1-5, and there's no. I don't think there's any coming back from it. My team is awful.
Ooh.
It happens, I guess.
You look at some of those teams that are doing good, and it is bizarre.
Right.
Who's been Gabe and I were talking about that before we got on air, how weird the scoring's been this year. I fully expect analysts just to be like, screw it. Just pick somebody, it's just random this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I really liked my team. But, yeah.
Who's on your team, Jennifer?
I have, let's see, my quarterbacks, I have Rodgers and Stafford, and then I had Tyrod and Foles as my other 2 there, which, and then I had McKinnon, who's now gone. Yeah. Let me think who else I have. I had Collins and Burkhead, who I had everywhere. So there's that.
Man.
Let me think who else I have. I have Ertz and Burton. I kind of was rolling with in the tight end department. And then my Fitzgerald, just basically everyone that hasn't panned out. My wide receivers are all kind of in that same, Crabtree, all of that.
Yeah, that hurts. Because like you're saying, as you go through those names, I'm like, yeah, I kind of was feeling him before the season. Oh yeah, Fitz, yeah. Sam Bradford's gonna be okay. Yeah, this is gonna work. Alex Collins, Rex Burkhead, sure. Yes, points go. Crabtree always open. Yes,
Would you have thought that Fitzgerald would have been droppable during draft season? Absolutely not. Nobody did, but
I just dropped him, or I put in a claim to drop him for Goodwin, just for something to try something. That's one of those short bench leagues.
Right.
I'm just I can't.
I don't even I don't even know what you do with it though. At this point, at this point, like you said, we're 6
season in a wrap.
Yeah, we're 6 weeks in, right? Which means that we're basically almost to the halfway point of most regular seasons in fantasy.
Right.
So we don't have time. There's not time to wait on people, right? So I think week 4 you can kind of wait for Fitz and see what's going on and wait for whomever, but there's no time now. It's week 7. I don't have time for you screwing around and not giving me points. So so a lot of these decisions where you're like, okay, do I drop them or do I not? We say drastic times call for drastic measures. We've got to go. Yeah,
I mean it's halfway through the season. For regular season,
right.
Fantasy, you can fit our 0-6 team. The best we could do is 7-6.
It's a wrap, bro. It's such a wrap. Oh, I've got the team pulled up now. Oh my gosh. So we had.
What's that? Bad?
No, right. So we've got Fournette. That's been great. We've got Tevin Coleman. We've got Marshawn Lynch. Okay, now. Wide receivers where we felt really good. Odell Beckham Jr. This is awesome. Alshon Jeffrey, who just came back, obviously a little too late. Jarvis Landry, Mr. 2 catches on a billion targets. Amari Cooper. Yeah. So as you guys can tell, that's who the team is built around. And
nucleus, yeah.
It's all, and Corey Davis. Corey Davis.
There's some good pieces there, though, too.
Right.
Matt Breida's been great. Who else is on? Okay, that's about it.
No, that's it.
What about tight end?
Oh, and okay. This is where this is my actual one complaint about the league, because I don't know if I've ever played in a 2 tight end league. That is especially this year, this year's tight end wasteland. I mean, oh my goodness, we have Charles Clay and Jesse James starting this week. It's I think we did have ASJ too. So
yeah, we were also a victim of the ASJ bug. So yeah, good times.
2 tight ends is tough. I mean, there's barely 12 starting tight ends at this point.
There's barely 4.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true.
You can't even start Gronk.
Right?
He's got one red zone target or something. I read the same as Devlin. The other tight end on the team, like he has the same amount of red zone targets as Devlin. The other tight end, they're like 5th string tight end.
Right.
Yo.
I've heard it jokingly thrown out there before to get rid of tight ends, and I tell you what, some years, man, it seems like that might be the way to go.
Yeah,
It definitely feels like it this year. It's like treat them like kickers. Just go. Just go.
or at least combine it to a wide receiver tight end position. And
You guys
Yeah,
do know
yeah.
I write a streaming kicker and tight end column for 444. That's my job. So if you get rid of both of those, I don't have a job.
Get her out
Shame
of
I
here.
just called you out. Like, you basically don't need Jennifers.
No, that's not what I meant.
There's a lot of us
No.
actually. Anyway.
So okay, Jennifer. Then we'll talk about that a little bit. What's
Oh, you don't have to.
tight end? No, I'd love to know. Seriously, tight end
Help
is
us,
seriously
please.
such a wasteland. Like, what can we do this week? Help! What can we do?
This week, the streamers that I have are my number one guy is Uzoma because
Hey.
there he is. You got Croft is now on a boot, so I mean he's really he's it there. So you figure the targets are going to be there for him. Who else do I have this week? My brain is fried at the moment. On the deep, because I do like regular picks, and then I have deep, for bigger leagues. There's your boy O'Shaughnessy. He has a decent matchup.
Shag Hennessy.
And Ben Watson comes back. He's decent. I mean, as far as streamer go, the streamers, at least for our qualification is they have to be under 40% owned. So it's like you're probably not going to hit huge, but I did hit on Swaim a couple weeks ago, which was pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, it is a wasteland. There's not a lot out there.
Yeah.
And it really, it just, I can't hear anything all of a sudden. Anyway, but yeah, I can't think of it right now, but give me a minute. I feel like
28.
Look, let me ask.
We are streaming CJ Uzoma. Right.
yeah,
now.
I mean, there you go. Yeah, no.
Don't worry, Jennifer. I started the season writing about IDP, but defense is just gone this year. So
Yeah, IDP
It's
is
tough.
something. It's funny. I edit an IDP article every week, but at the same time, I'm like, I haven't delved into that yet. I've been playing. This is my 22nd year playing fantasy football, and I have still yet to enter the IDP realm.
Wow.
It's a beast.
it is.
Oh, you know what? RSJ, I forgot. He was on my list too. I mean,
Okay.
Nice.
he's kind of there every week at this point because he is who he is, and he's going to get some targets. But the reality is, and they're playing the Broncos, who you guys know are always a tight end sieve. So you've got
Right.
that. It's tomorrow tomorrow night? No, Thursday night.
Right.
Oh man.
But
Tight
yeah.
ends just don't score.
They don't. And then you also, I forgot, there's the rookie guy in the Jets, Herndon.
Turned in, yeah.
It's a decent, somewhat of a matchup. It's a dart throw, but he is there. So if
Right.
he had a decent week in his first week last week, week
Since
6.
Since we're talking about tight ends, I really need you guys to help me rectify something within my soul. Right now, there's one guy currently who's rocking the tight end landscape, something fierce. His name is Eric, last name Ebron. And I'm pretty sure he's got a touchdown in just about every game except for one. What is going on? Someone please help me.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it too. I mean, I have to say that along with ASJ, I was a big Ebron fan over the summer just because of luck. I mean, you guys, luck, like he loves tight ends. You see now, even with Doyle out and you've got Ebron, now he's going swoop and that other random dude, the new guy, I can't think of his name right now, but
Right.
it's like all summer everyone was making fun of me because I kept talking about Ebron, but I'm like, this new team, if he can actually hang on to the ball, he's going to get the volume and he's going to score. Obviously we all didn't know Doyle was going to go down, but
Right.
I think it's awesome.
Did he ever get this many red zone targets in a season? Like he always is getting
Pretty close.
the ball thrown to him. I mean, and he's
Bro,
catching, which is great.
He
I mean,
dropped tons of them in Detroit. Tons of
Yeah.
red zone targets.
Yeah.
Almost
He's
every
got-
game he dropped one.
He's third in targets amongst tight ends right now. Forget red zone. He's third in targets. Like
Crazy.
more than Jimmy Graham, more than George Kittle, more than Hooper, more than Gronk, more than Jordan Reed. What is going on? I don't.
It's all just about Jack Doyle, you know, like no Doyle is just
That helps too.
led to Ebron just getting targeted a ton, and then the new offense that they're playing in with the low A dot, you know, for Luck, it's part of their scheme. So, and then also he's kind of benefited just from Luck's top wide receiver options like what Chester Rogers and Ryan Grant, like that's a joke, you know what I mean? Like Eric Ebron is
Pascal.
my bad. It's just like he's benefited from like lack of competition. And actually, I think he just had a few bad seasons. It doesn't mean that a player can't change and just like be better. You know, like players get better all the time. So I don't know. He's also not catching lasers from Matt Stafford anymore. He's catching, finely placed balls from Andrew Luck. So a little bit different.
Stafford, Luck does have a little bit better touch. Yes, I agree.
So let me ask this: would you buy Ebron rest of season as a guy who's probably likely to finish in the top 5?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, I guess like it speaks more to the tight end landscape, I think, as well too. Like you've been talking about, like we're looking at CJ Uzoma and like other guys like it's like elite streaming options here. Like these are like, and honestly, she's not wrong. These are really good options. Seriously, at the tight end position this week. And so I don't know. I'm buying Ebron the rest of the way. I think he can be a pretty solid option. And then even if like Doyle or return or anything, like they just play a lot of two tight end sets. He'll be consistently involved in the offense. So like especially in the red zone, like we've seen, it wouldn't surprise me to see him keep scoring a lot of touchdowns.
I've got a fun game for everyone to play. I just need a name. You don't have to get crazy with it. I just need a name. Rest of season: Eric Ebron, George Kittle. Oh, not everybody at once. No. We can't all jump.
I can't.
Be quiet.
I'd probably
can't
say
quit.
Ebron.
I can't quit my Kittle love, man. I would still take Kittle. Sorry. It's just a personal thing, and watching Ebron for years, I just can't. He's doing it, and I just can't.
What do you say, Connor?
Honestly.
I mean, as much as I want to say with, Kittle and Beathard playing together before in college, I just think that it's such a tight bond there. I think that Ebron
Look
is
at you strolling down there in the street. Look at you strolling.
Yeah, I'm taking a nice long walk down there in the street. But I think I'm gonna have to get off and go over to realistic world over there, and I'm picking Ebron. I think this is just for a lot of the reasons that I already talked about.
Yeah, Lauren, what do you think? Lauren, can you hear me?
Jennifer?
Why not just call her Lauren?
Hey.
I'm like, who's Lauren?
Oh, here we go. Here we
I
go.
have no idea. I'm pretty sure that's how Colin started, by the way.
Exactly.
It was
Colin
that.
and Warren. That's perfect.
She's
Yes.
just looking there like, huh?
Yeah, she's like,
who are you
what?
talking to?
I'm like, can you hear? Like, what are you? I'm a
I
mess.
almost think that we plan this shit. Like we always like.
Like, no, it just happened. I'm sorry.
don't know anyone.
I am so.
all good.
I'm so sorry.
Don't even. It's all good. I'm going with Ebron. Yeah, just based on the overall offense and what he has
I love it.
to work with. I'm going Ebron.
Okay. Last one, and this is going to test your love here, Jennifer. Trey Burton or Eric Ebron? Rest of the season. With Trubisky throwing 1 billion touchdowns an hour.
Yeah, he's had 2 good games. I'd slow down a little bit on that, but I would say I'm still gonna go Ebron. At the beginning of the season, I might have said Burton, but I'm still gonna say Ebron.
I think
Same
that
here.
one's like way easy. I mean,
Okay.
Burton's just not getting enough volume.
Consistently, yeah.
I mean, he's got those weird touchdowns that he scores, like the flip touchdown there and that other weird one a few weeks back. I don't know. Like I remember those two vividly. Like that's not going to happen ever again. With Ebron, though, it seems like it's the same like play every week. It's just like this, corner fade, and he just catches it. Like good.
Connor?
I think Luck's arm's getting better too.
Yeah, he does look better. I'm still going Ebron there, even though I think I do like Burton, and I've always this whole offseason I was kind of in on the Chicago offense. So them like performing well the last 2 games was more of like confirmation bias for me than an outlier. So I don't know. I'm just gonna pick Ebron because I think he's still the right play here, but I am kind of still bullish on the Chicago offense.
I think this exercise clearly shows the importance, or just the sense of urgency of where we are right now. Just like we talked about, like as much as we like Trey Burton, as much as we like these players, it's time to go, and we've got to start trusting what we see. So I really have a hard time trusting this Ebron thing, but I mean, it's here. We're in the middle of it. It's Ebron's world right now. Ebron's world, man. I really that really messes with me.
Well, why don't you just up the ante a little bit? Why don't you just say Ebron or Gronk? Just get it over with. Rest of season.
Because I don't think anybody. I mean, you know what? Don't let me be so bold as to hold anybody back. Anybody want Ebron there?
No. There's a line.
Yep.
There's a line.
The line has been crossed.
I was just
Touchdowns. Kind of all that's missing with Gronk for the most part. Kind of that.
Right.
Seriously, who is Lauren? What the crap, man?
It's all right. It's not like well, I was gonna say it's not like we were in bed. Like that's when it's that's when
You
it
know
really
what?
matters.
That's a very fair call. That would
But
be.
you can call me the wrong name in this situation all day. It's all good.
I appreciate you helping me feel 13 times better about this. Thank you.
It's not like she's the wide receiver 1 in fantasy, and we still can't spell his name right.
Yes, let's say I before E, except after C.
Except after C. My goodness, the dude gets no respect.
I think that's another one of those things where preseason. I mean, a lot of us went Diggs versus Thielen, and a lot of us said, "Hey, we love both. Like we can like one and like the other too. That's fine." And I think right now, I'm gonna try to look it up in terms of where they are right now this season. I think Thielen's obviously 1 in points per game, but I think Diggs is
12. I got it right here. And well, I guess I don't know points per game. That's total points.
Points per game. He's 15th.
Okay,
tied for 15th.
Where'd I go? Oh.
Yeah, tied for 15th.
gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it's just because they throw so much. Like he's supporting both of them just because they haven't been able to rely on the running game at all. So they've literally just had to throw. Like Kirk Cousins had to throw the ball like 40+ times consistently, and I don't know. It's supporting both of them, and they're both like good. So that always helps too. I mean, honestly, like everyone talks about volume, and volume's super important in fantasy. But when you have a guy like Thielen and Diggs who are just good at the game, they're going to be good fantasy producers. So.
Thielen's got 81 targets through 6 games. That's
Crazy.
That's crazy.
No,
That's a stupid face.
Look, just in if we're ranking in targets, Thielen's number 1 amongst wide receivers. Steph Diggs is number 9. 2 guys are top 10 in targets on the season on the same team.
So where is Cousins in fantasy points? Because he's not like in the top, or
He's
maybe
got to be
he is.
top 5, right?
Is he really? See, it doesn't seem.
No, points per game, he's 8th.
Okay.
8th. He's,
See, yeah, 7th in this scoring I've got here, but he's right there. I mean, 5th.
this is kind of
5th is 22, so and he's at 21, like whatever. So
Ryan Fitzpatrick's still skewing everything. He's
oh right, yeah.
get him out of there.
He still shows up on the top of my waiver wire thing for quarterbacks because he's still outscored like Bortles for this season.
I don't understand it. I really don't. It's insane. With speaking of bye weeks, which we weren't talking about bye weeks at all, but
speaking of
speaking of bye weeks, transition. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Can we talk about Lev Bell for a second? Like, obviously, I feel like this has to be addressed. James Conner's a top 5 points per game running back right now. We've got to figure out what we're doing moving forward, right? Coming out of the bye, you'd like to think Bell's probably going to get some kind of modicum of touches. How comfortable are we moving forward with James Conner?
I honestly don't want to rely on either if you don't have to. I mean, I do think there's going to be some sort of a split. I think Bell will get most of it. Connor will be there just enough to be like a nuisance, I think. But Bell will still be probably a RB1, even if he gets 75% of the touches, just because of who he is. But that whole dynamic just scares me, man. Like I don't have hardly any shares of Bell right now. I have a lot of Connor, and I'm just going to hold on. I know the rest of the season is going to be bumpy, but next year it'll be their RB1. So, yeah, the rest of the season, that's scary. I don't like it.
Yeah, there's two really weird things happening there because for the rest of the season, like Steelers, typically want the bell cow back of sorts, and they might end up having two on the field, two bell cows. Like you can throw Bell in the slot or, some sort of Freeman, Tevin Coleman type of situation with the offense. I don't know if they've ever really done anything unique like that. So I'm interested to see what they do as far as that goes, but also intrigued about what happens next year in a dynasty landscape. Like, would you be buying James Conner right now? And is that at a discount, or are you paying the price for it? Are you okay paying the price? Like what?
Not right now, but in like 3 weeks, yes, I would try to get Connor. Let Bell come back for a couple weeks and drive Connor's value down a little bit, and then I would definitely try to grab him. Right now, I think you're not going to get much of a discount, even with the looming Bell coming back.
But with that, you're anticipating Bell leaving, right?
Yes.
And I think we can all assume that, I suppose. I mean, he's not either going to want to sign with them or they're not going to tag him again. That's kind of what we expect.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at this from an NFL perspective, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers and you have a rookie or have a James Conner who's shown that he can perform like pretty similarly to Le'Veon Bell through multiple extended weeks, and you have him on a cheap contract, there's really no point of continuing to run him, and you're really better off just running Lev Bell into the ground for the rest of the season once he comes back. So I think that this is something like from a logical standpoint, like why would the Steelers even play James Conner more than a handful of snaps a game? They know that Lev Bell is like similarly talented and that James Conner is good, but like why would you potentially injure a guy who you can get for the future for cheap and a guy that your team and fan base clearly like, compared to Lev Bell, where you can literally give him as many touches as you want, still be like very competitive, and then just get rid of him for nothing. You just let him go, you let him walk. So I think, in my opinion, like that's probably what's going to happen. I don't think it'll be exactly like 100% Lev Bell touches, but probably a lot heavier split than most are thinking right now, just because it doesn't really make much sense to play James Conner for an extended period of time.
Good point.
That's a good point. Jennifer,
that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Jennifer, how you feel about it?
I zoned out for a minute because you guys were talking dynasty, and I kind of just went into my own little world. But sorry about that.
Okay,
you're seeing how much it costs to make a name change. Like, I kind of
over here, I'm looking up domain names and trying to figure out what I need to do moving forward.
JMike is a dummy.com. All right. It's a good one. I think I'm out of bullets, Gabe.
You are?
I am.
Wow.
Especially without the chat. It's kind of weird right now to not to pop in on the chat and see what's randomly going on.
Engage people on Twitter, but they weren't having it.
No. They're like, live feeds down? Okay, never mind.
Are upset. They love the YouTube chat.
Oh, there's normally like chat along the right. Is that?
Yeah.
Well, it goes on YouTube. So basically, the show runs on like YouTube Live.
Right. Okay.
And so that's where a lot of the fodder and randomness comes from too. So.
Okay.
It's true. I forgot what I was going to say. I did have something, J Mike, and now I'm Devontae, your boy. He gone.
Utter sadness. Oh.
Yeah. That cow is full of utter sadness.
Between that and Tevin Coleman being kind of this year, it makes you wonder what's going to happen. Ito's looked really damn good, surprisingly. Are they going to give him more play? I hope so. Like that whole team, man, they've had some horrible injuries this year. Yeah,
I was 100% here for the Falcons bounce back. I was really, really feeling good about it. And then Devontae died. Tevin got sick with, typhoid fever or whatever. It's like Oregon Trail, just people just falling off left and right. Like, we don't have enough rations to make it to the actual trail. Like, it's just bad. It's bad.
Top 2 IDP players out for the year, basically. Yeah,
defense.
It's rough.
The defense has disintegrated on the field. Like, I think this begs another question. And I'm
they even lost the kicker too. Matt Bryant.
Like when does Matt Bryant miss anything?
Yeah, I know.
When it comes to rest of season landscape, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Julio Jones or one of the Rams receivers? Take your pick.
That's a great question.
Any of the Rams receivers?
Any of the Rams receivers, yes.
Wow.
That's funny.
I still think it's Julio. Even if he doesn't score any touchdowns, he's still balling. He's still gonna have almost 2,000 yards probably. It's Julio, man. They're gonna be throwing all season anyways. Yeah.
The Falcons aren't
for me
winning games, but they're certainly throwing the ball a lot, and fantasy is completely fine with Julio and Matt Ryan, and Hooper's getting his. Ridley's had his games. Sanu even. They're cooking on the passing front. But yeah, you're right about the rushing game. It's ugh. But Julio, come on, you have to say Julio.
Look, I just have to ask the question.
Receivers, bro.
I'm just asking because apparently
it's so good though. It's so good.
I feel like people really. Julio's putting up routinely double-digit points week in, week out this year, and he's not scoring touchdowns, but people are still upset about it. Whereas, like, all the Rams receivers are doing are catching touchdowns, and like I feel like you can't say a bad word about anybody on the Rams right now. So I was just curious your all's thoughts. Who you'd rather have? That's all.
Yeah, I love the Rams like as an offense as a whole, but Julio Jones is higher than all the Rams receivers in PPR, I believe, total points already, and he has 0 touchdowns. And their defense is so bad. I just tweeted this out actually before the podcast that they're the only defense in the NFL to rank bottom 5 in both passing and rushing success rate allowed this year right now. And a lot of it's obviously due to injuries, but they're going to have to keep throwing the ball. And then without Devonta Freeman, I don't think Tevin Coleman's going to be all that efficient. He really hasn't been pretty much his whole career, to be honest, especially in the running game. So they're going to have to keep airing it out, and Julio's going to be that guy. Whether he scores touchdowns or not remains to be seen. But I don't know. I think he's bound to score a touchdown eventually, right?
No.
Yes. That would be hilarious. 1,900 yards and no touchdowns would be just. That'd be it, man. It'd be done.
We need that. We need that for how the season is going. We need all the weird things. Robert Woods is right there though, right behind Julio.
Yeah, he's close.
And Cooks and Kupp have missed a lot of time for either the concussion early for Cooks the week before, and Kupp also with a concussion, and then with the knee thing, was that MCL, sprained MCL this past week. So maybe with those games, they're all 3 top 15 wide receivers. Like realistically, maybe with those games, you can do a whole bit on what if, but Robert Woods is right there with Julio. That's my point. So
fair enough. Jennifer, I know you had a article that ran regarding streamers this week for quarterbacks. Who you liking this week before we get ready to bounce up out of here shortly?
This week, I've gotten a lot of crap for this, but I actually like Sam Darnold. I know he's playing the Vikings, which everyone thinks, ooh, the Vikings. But when you actually look at the numbers, when it comes to quarterbacks, they're actually 30th, like against the quarterback. So, they, I think Darnold, he's kind of making his way, and I think he has a decent game. I think, there's also Flacco, he's one of those that, nobody wants to start, but when it comes down to, streamers, it's like, there's only a small segment that's, under 40% owned and someone that, is readily available. Because believe it or not, Baker Mayfield has already crossed that threshold. He's in like the 50th. Wow. He's in the 50th, percentile of ownership. So, and so is like Dalton, like guys that you can usually count on to be streamers are not anymore because this season it's so weird that people are, scooping up the guys that you're normally, streaming every week. Let me think. God, I see it. Like I said, you should have told me what I was going to talk about. I would have been prepared. I can't even, it's funny. Honestly, Mondays for me, I crank out like 4 articles that are all due like in a short span.
Oh, man.
So I kind of forget what I'm doing because I do them all at once, and then you'd think I'd retain the information, but
that's all good.
sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I had Darnold, I had Flacco. Who was my third one? I'm actually going to look. Trubisky.
You had True Chains.
Oh, see, you knew, and you should have just told me what I said.
Well, no, it's more fun when you're scrambling and trying to figure it out.
When I'm trying to look up what I wrote. I've got Trubisky against the Patriots. I
like that one.
Yeah.
I mean, they gave up 352 yards to Mahomes last week, and 4 touchdowns. So, it's there. The work, and he's had 9 touchdowns in the last 2 games. So, he's on somewhat of a tear. So we'll see what happens there.
Is starting Joe Flacco, like when you say, well, there's Joe Flacco, like does he feel like the fantasy vegetables, like the ones that your mom used to make you eat, and you'd cross your arms and keep your mouth closed and like fight her on it? And like, no, eventually you're gonna have these vegetables. Like,
honestly, and the thing is, it's like that every year. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter what he doesn't do. Like, he's a guy that you just don't want to admit that you're drafting, or a guy that you don't want to admit you're starting. But you know what? There's certain weeks, especially, we got 4 teams on a bye this week, and it's a lot of good quarterbacks. So you're kind of just, Flacco's going to have to make his way into people's lineups, whether they like it or not.
Yeah, he's like the beets that your wife makes you eat.
I was man.
Did you say beets?
Yeah.
I actually hate beets.
Yes.
My husband likes them, and I've tried every kind. Pickled, not pickled, whatever kind you want. I hate them all. They're gross.
I tried to eat about 8 of them. About quarter size, and I just not my thing.
Are they sitting next to you right now? Are you staring at the beets?
No, they're staring at me. I got like 10 little bites left. And
I love how you said they're staring at you right now.
I got 10 little Flaccos just staring at me.
Hey, it's good for you. Eat up, man.
Dude, do you know what that does coming out the other end, my bro?
I do not. I don't like beets. Jennifer and I have established we don't like beets. You guys can have them.
I only like one kind of beets, and it is not the vegetable.
CJ, beet hard.
It's CJ Beathard.
Yes, definitely.
I had a friend last night ask me as we were watching the game, who's this beat hard guy? I was like, no. Just no.
I guess my question to you guys is like, I don't dislike beets, but like, why would you go out of your way to eat beets? Like, do people actually crave them? Like, why do you have beets? Like, I'm just being honest. Like, why did you like pick them in the grocery store and say like, oh, that looks good? I'll get some
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you.
Like, it's not like I don't like them. I just don't know why I would pick them on the shelf over like 75% of the rest of the grocery store. I don't know.
Exactly.
Right. No, there's so everything in the. I would pick out the weirdest looking, like big yellow, like spiky vegetable looking thing. I don't know what it is, but I want that over a beet.
Yeah, at least try it, right? Like, you never know. It probably is better than a beet. So like, let's.
I'm really upset that we got to this because I am speaking so loud and I am sleeping with the beats tonight.
Mrs. Geary about to walk in with a baseball bat. Everything's just going to go black.
Thank you for joining us.
Kathy Bates on him.
Yeah, it's gonna be a problem for you, bro. I'm sorry. So I'm speaking so loud.
And end.
Oh.
We did have one from our boy Burger. He's on his way home driving. He's always got a little Twitter question. I don't
What
think
up,
he can
Bert?
hop in the YouTube chat, and typically, and we have a chat now. So on Twitter,
yay.
from Burger.
Oh, just
Just from, yeah. Is there any hope for any Titans players?
Oh, good question. Dwight, weren't we talking about that in the we were talking about that in the Kamikaze chat today about Mariota being is he a buy right now?
Oh yeah, I still don't want him, but I bought Corey. I bought Corey Davis today. I still have a lot of faith in him, but yeah, that's the only one that I'd want out of that offense right now.
Can Mariota feel his fingers or not
Yeah,
yet?
for real. God.
Because that's kind of an issue, I would think.
Right.
Out of every offense that you would have guessed preseason to not be any good this year, I feel like the Titans were not on that list. Like there was so much hope built up.
LaFleur like just hyped from the Rams offense. Like this is now the Los Angeles Rams. This is exactly what will happen.
I think this is kind of why like preseason matters a little bit, because I was like full in on the Titans train for pretty much all the offseason. I was like their offense is changing. They got rid of their old coaching staff, which just was running that exotic smash mouth BS. And then I was like, any change should be good. Like, kind of like with the Bears, like I was like, all right, getting rid of old coach, should be good. And so, but when you looked in the preseason, they were horrible. Like their offense looked terrible. Mariota looked awful. Like they just couldn't get anything going. Even when obviously I'm not talking about like when the bench players were playing. Like I don't really care about that. Just like when the starters were playing, for the first series and then during the third game, like they were really, really bad. So I backed away, thankfully, towards the end of my drafts. But I'm with you guys. Like I was really on them to start, and then I just honestly got lucky to get away from them there after preseason.
Derrick Henry. He's like
I have to say I went in on Dion Lewis early on in the summer. I was excited about him, and luckily, like you, I kind of backed off a little bit, and I'm glad I did because I don't have much. I had a little Delaney Walker, and that sucks too. But
yeah, definitely liked Walker. But like from now on, I don't know. I'm not really buying anyone. I guess maybe Corey Davis. He's showed like his upside, I guess, but everything else is kind of just meh.
Very meh indeed.
I think there's no hope. I think that's the answer. Berg. Sorry to burst your bubble. There's no hope in Tennessee. Got Corey Davis, 49. He's 18th in targets on the year amongst wide receivers. 49 targets. He's only got 27 receptions. Averaging 11.9 points per game right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And yeah, the targets are there too. Like, what a waste, to be top 10 in that kind of volume with the potential of that offense. Just such a bummer.
Literally points per game right now. He's a wide receiver 4. Wow. That's a new low.
And then you look at his game logs though, and like what he's actually done. It's like just like 13 targets, 6 receptions, 62 yards. Like that could have been a huge game. Yeah. Then he's got like 555, and then just like a bunch of crap games. Then all of a sudden 9, 161, 1. And that's where like all of his fantasy points came.
And that's that Philly game, right? That was a Philadelphia game then?
Yeah. You see the upsides there, but that might be about it, It's because you got the Chargers this week, which I guess they've been susceptible to deep passes, but Baker didn't really take advantage of that last week, which kind of stunk. I was wrong on there. I thought he would have a really good game. Then they also have their bye after that, so then you're looking at like 3 to 4 weeks maybe. We're talking about like you got to head into your fantasy playoffs here, looking good, and I'm not really sure that he's startable.
Yeah, you can't even trust them at this point. Like even if they show you something like coming out of the bye, there's no way with it all on the line you're starting any of those guys, and that sucks. That sucks so bad.
Yeah. When is there's been few kind of times where you don't want to start any player from an offense. And especially, like you said, J. Mike, coming into the season, like we didn't expect the Titans, but like looking back, I don't know. There's usually at least one receiver that's just getting all the targets from garbage time or whatever that is, or the third down back that's getting all of it, or the quarterback that's playing catch up. Like there's something. There's one like kind of bright spot, but there just is nothing.
One shining moment. No,
I can't even think of a time though when there was a team like that. I mean, you think about like maybe the Jets, but like last year, but you know, they had Robbie Anderson was, he was, but that's, I mean, I can't think of a time when there was literally not one person that's serviceable on that team. That's pretty sad.
I mean, if you consider LaShawn McCoy serviceable, then maybe Buffalo, but other than that, I don't consider anyone else on that offense serviceable. You know, RIP to your guys' team where you have Charles Clay starting, but it's yeah. I mean, I didn't really like LaShawn McCoy coming into this year either, but I don't know. I guess he is serviceable, so I guess they don't count.
Yeah, like it's
pretty close though.
Flex.
Yeah, he's
on bye weeks.
The Titans made the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs.
Didn't they start off 3-0 this year too? I mean,
are they winning? Are they leading the division, J. Mike, or has that changed yet? I don't know.
I don't even know. It all makes me so sad. Oh gosh, I can't do it.
All right.
Anyway, Gabe, we gotta go.
Let's get out of here.
We gotta go. Our time.
This was a very depressing and episode.
Hopefully that wasn't me.
You're all right, Lauren. It's okay.
Yeah. Yes, it's all good, Lauren. Hang in there. Keep your chin up.
Yeah, we got a three-way. Well, not a three-way tie, but 3 teams at 3-3. Looks like Tennessee's still leading because they're 2-0 in the division. All right. More positivity coming. You know, we're all going to wake up tomorrow morning, and that's about the best thing I can say. So we'll say our goodbyes, some plugs, some things. Connor, Colin, Alan, NFL. What do you got?
Matrix.
Am I supposed to plug what I'm doing here the next week or something? Is that what
this is your time to do whatever you want to do. You can plug, you can talk, whatever you want.
You have a poem
for sure
you've written?
Yeah, so I got a poem in here going ready for the open bar. But actually I have a pod dropping on Thursday, which will be cool. I started a podcast this year called Move the Line. We talk about all the games and from a betting perspective. We also talk about from like player props, fantasy, DFS. It's a lot of fun. We've had some great guests on. We got Chris Raybon from the Action Network coming on this week. He's awesome. We had Matt Harmon on last week. It's been just a total blast. Like some really good guys in the industry. So definitely would recommend checking that out if you are into that kind of stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much one of the main things I do. Write a couple articles, a weather article, but that's about it.
TQE taking over the game.
Yep, that's what it's all about.
I'm glad that you're a part of it. That's what it's all about. It's taking.
That's what it's.
Oh man.
I'm happy that you're with that crew though. Well deserved, and looking forward to listening to that in the future, brother. The People's Champ.
What's up?
Speak to
you
me.
are. If you're going to be in Phoenix this weekend, I'll be at Yuck's Chuckle Shack. No, I'm just kidding.
Ladies,
right.
All right.
Writing for the Dynasty Happy Hour and Fantasy Authority, and we have the Debbie Owners Manual. Recording our first podcast tomorrow night. It should drop Friday, hopefully. So, looking forward to doing that, man.
Speaking of busy people, legit though, between all of your fantasy endeavors, you've also got the whole DJ gig that you're doing basically every weekend for basically the entire fall and winter. So I don't know how you're going to do all of this. How do you plan to even get through the weekend or through the rest of the season?
No, I'm almost done, man. We as soon as the end of fall hits in Michigan, a lot of people don't get married, man. Not in the middle of winter, so yeah, I'm almost done. I have like 2 left this year, and that's it, man. Then I get off till about May, and once May hits, yeah, it's crazy.
There you go.
Dropping beats. Dropping beats.
Music.
Indeed.
Not beats like Dwight Schrute, baby.
You have a lot of connection to beats.
Yeah, you said that, and I was like, "Isn't your name Dwight?" Like,
Right.
Beats.
Like a Dwight thing.
Bears. Battlestar Galactica.
Bears. Star Galactica. Jennifer. Lauren.
Yes.
So good to have you tonight. What would you like to share about yourself? Anything?
About myself. Well, as far as my promo stuff goes, I have a tight end and a kicker piece on 4for4 that went up today. I also have a streaming quarterback, tight end, defense piece on SI that went up today. A hold sell that is coming out tomorrow morning on SI. That is kind of my weekly load there. Yeah. And then about myself, otherwise that's it, man. I had fun. Thanks for having me. Hopefully I didn't bring it down too much.
No.
To the
You
depressing level
only
that
brought
we were.
YouTube down entirely. That's all you
I
did.
guess I did, yeah. I don't know. All
how you
my
did that,
barrages of fans were trying to log on and broke the whole thing. I do apologize for that.
Now, Jennifer, I need your most fire cheese take. You say
My what?
You say you're a cheese freak.
Oh, yes.
Right? I need
absolutely.
your most fire cheese take.
Swiss is disgusting.
No.
Yes, it's rancid and awful. But the stinkier and the smellier and the softer, the better. So I like all the nasty, stinky type cheeses. But Swiss is just gross. Like and you know what? Yeah, there's just no purpose for it.
Wow.
Sorry, that's my take.
Jennifer,
There's a lot of holes in your game.
Really? You
Well
guys
done.
like Swiss? All of you?
Mushroom Swiss burgers.
I love mushrooms, but see, I prefer like a white cheddar or maybe a Gouda on that. I just
like the stank. What's that one? What's that cheese that ends with that Linden burger? Is that what it's called?
Oh, that's gross. That's not even like a real cheese. That's
Okay, that's not cheese. Okay.
no, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it is, but I don't know what it is. But that's gross. But I like,
All right. Too far.
brie, camembert, those type of soft, stinky
Brie.
manchego.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah.
brie.
Okay.
Quite
You
nice.
brought me back.
Thank you.
Jennifer, your Swiss take is you're acting like a real Lauren right now. Man.
Okay. J Mike, do you have a cheese take you'd like to share before you say what you need to say?
Man, Swiss is fire. No, I was playing.
No, you don't know.
What you talking about? No. I outside of the whole Swiss thing, I agree with what she said. I approve this message. The obviously no live chat tonight, so I can't thank them, which is kind of a bummer. I really
So
don't
is
know what to
anyone
do.
going to hear this at all or no?
Yeah, so this also acts as a
We don't
podcast.
really know yet.
So what we really need to happen is for YouTube to come back so that this actually saves, because this could be really depressing if it doesn't. Yeah, to everyone who hopefully will hear this at some point, thank you guys for checking us out on the podcast. Obviously, if you hear us on iTunes, Spotify, which we're coming to very soon, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, all over the place. Feel free to rate us, review us, share us with a friend that doesn't know about us. We'd love to be in their earbuds every Wednesday morning. So again, it's your boys here at the Open Bar on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. The show's handle is at the Open Bar FP, as in fake pigskin. Yeah, happy to be able to do it. Gabe, good to be with you again. To our guests, thank you guys so much for sharing an hour with us of us lowly guys here in the fantasy world that just want to chop it up and talk life. So incredibly grateful for you all. So thank you. Seriously, very, very much appreciated. Gabe, take us home.
Yeah, I feel like we needed to vent a little bit or something. I don't know. I felt that need to just talk about how tumultuous this fantasy season has been. And so I definitely thank you three first and foremost for that. And just to be here, because we did actually talk football and it was good and it was solid. Besides the cheese. Besides the cheese.
Soft and stinky.
You know, J-Mike, we had about 5, 6, 7, 8-ish people hot on Twitter like, yo, YouTube's not working. We're trying to get in. We want to watch. So shout out to, you know, being there for us, ready to go to jump in live. This is hopefully a rare occurrence. I think that it is. And we'll plan on being here on time, always, 9:30 Eastern. Kick it with y'all for an hour. I am at FF Man Bun. Okay. You like that, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Ignore him.
What? Okay.
I chuckled.
Yeah. It's part of the brand. Okay. Put your drinks up, my people. I don't think I have anything else to say. I love you all. I love all fantasy football Twitter. And we'll see y'all next week. And ciao and deuces.